What is up? How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Bending Ballistic Show. Today, I have another company, yet again, that has gone out of business. And this is going to affect our neighbors to the west in Ontario, California, Phoenix Arms. So, for those of you that don't know about Phoenix Arms, they have been known as the Budget or the Saturday Night Special of pistols. They only had two pistols. They had one in 22 and one in 25, and they made four separate models. They made just a 25. It was called the Phoenix Arms 25, and they had one called the Phoenix Arms 22, I believe. And then they had the newer models that they were forced to make, which was like the HP 25A and the HP 22A. So the models were HP 25, HP 25A, HP 22, HP 22A. And now they stopped making the just HP 22, HP 25s and converted everything over to the HP 22A or HP 25A. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the rise and the fall of Phoenix Arms out of Ontario, California. For decades, Phoenix Arms was a name instantly recognizable for anybody looking for an ultra affordable firearm. They were the last of a lineage of a direct descendant of the infamous Ring of Fire companies. But after a long and often controversial history, Phoenix Arms reportedly ceased all production and sales in early 2025. This isn't just another company shutting its doors, it's the end of an era. So, what finally led to the demise of Phoenix Arms? So, we're going to go a little bit into the history of Phoenix Arms and who they were. So, in order to figure out what happened to Phoenix Arms, we must first understand that Phoenix Arms, you have to go back to its roots. It emerged from the ashes, quite literally ashes, of Raven Arms, a company founded by George Jennings Raven, and the subsequent Ring of Fire companies like Jennings and Davis Industries, specialize in inexpensive, often zinc alloy construction handguns, commonly referred to as Saturday Night Specials. These firearms, while affordable, were frequently criticized with their reliability and safety. When Raven Arms factory was destroyed in 1991 by a fire, George Jennings retired selling his designs, tooling, and from this, Phoenix Arms was born in 1992, becoming the last direct survivor of the controversial group of manufacturers. Their most notable products was the HP 22 and the HP 25, continuing the tradition of low-cost, compact pistols. The Ring of Fire companies included Phoenix Arms, faced a barrage of legal challenges over the years. They were frequently targeted by lawsuits in cities, individuals who alleged their marketing and distribution practices contributed to gun violence and illegal gun trafficking, particularly in states with stricter gun laws. In 1999, a New York jury even found Phoenix Arms, among others, negligent in its practices, holding them partially responsible for shootings and gang violence. Beyond the legal battles, Phoenix Arms also struggled with its reputation of quality, reliability. While they offered a lifetime warranty to original owners, many reported issues with the pistols, from failures to feed, eject, and to crack slides, and frames that were low-cost Zumac alloy. So Zumac alloy is, for those of you that don't know, is a zinc aluminum polyhybrid. Lack of better words, it's high zinc, low aluminum. I personally have been in the aluminum industry for many years now, so I don't know of any companies that even make Zam- Zamac alloy anymore. But it was a high zinc, low aluminum alloy, kind of like a pop metal alloy, lack of better words. These weren't just isolated incidents with cracked flames and cracked slides. These were persistent criticisms that colored the public perception. In 2001, the California Attorney General even ordered Phoenix Arms to cease manufacturing certain HP 22 models due to safety and reliability concerns, leading to the revised HP 22A and the HP 25A models. So I have a post 2001 model here, which is a HP 25A. It was the first pistol I ever bought. When I turned 21, I decided I want a pistol, and I bought this pistol. I think I gave less than $175 for it, and I had instant buyer's remorse. So there's there's two safeties right here, and to even get the slide to work, you have to fight with these two safeties. The two safeties right here you have to fight with and make sure they're timed just right. In order to get the slide to hold back, you have to lock it with the safety. To drop the magazine, this has to be on fire, this has to be on safe. There's all sorts of crazy stuff that was going on with these pistols. There's like 4 or 5 different safeties on them. So, regardless, I digress. Let's go back to it. While legal pressures and reputation certainly played a role, economic realities likely delivered the final blow to the manufacturing company. Even inexpensive firearms come with significant overhead and rising material costs, increased with regulatory burdens. General inflation environments of recent years would have squeezed the margins, particularly for a company relying on volume sales of low priced products. So, when you think of volume sales of low priced products, think of the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree makes its profit off of the amount of items in which they're selling, not the cost of the items, such as a company like, we'll just use for an example, a high-end boutique that sells $100 t-shirts, whatever company that may be. So, back to our story about Phoenix Arms. Furthermore, the firearms market itself has evolved. While there's still a demand for affordable options, many mainstream manufacturers have introduced their own budget-friendly lines that offer significantly better quality reliability for a slightly higher but still accessible price point. This increased competition for reputable brands has made it increasingly difficult for Phoenix Arms to compete solely on price, especially with their existing baggage. So when we're talking about brands that have come out with their own budget-friendly pistols for EDC or personal defense or first-time firearms buyers, think of the PSA Dagger, the Anderson Kiger. I know Anderson's no longer in business, but that's just an example. You have the Bear Creek Grizzly. You have the P80. Even just a Glock alone, their entry-level Glock 19 is still accessible for many people's budgets. So, by early 2025, it became apparent that the writing was on the wall. While there was no public bankruptcy filing, like some other companies, reports indicated that Phoenix Arms simply just stopped production and sales and made its quiet exit at the marking the end of an era of the Ring of Fire legacy. For the owners of Phoenix Arms pistols, this means a lifetime warranty they once offered is effectively null and void. Parts and service will become extremely difficult in the coming years, if not impossible to find, with these firearms already being known for their finicky nature will likely become even more challenging to maintain. But the legend is defined as Phoenix Arms closure is a poignant reminder of how much the firearms industry has changed. While they specifically filled a niche for decades, their business model, products quality were ultimately unsustainable in the face of the evolving regulations, increasing competition, and consumer base that increasingly prioritizes reliability, safety, at even a just marginally higher price point. The Ring of Fire companies and Phoenix Arms is the last torchbearer to leave behind a complicated legacy. They made firearms accessible for millions, but at a cost often measured with reliability issues, ongoing legal battles. The exit signals a shift in the budget firearms market that prioritizes baseline of quality, safety, simply over the lowest price possible. So let me know down below. What are your thoughts on Phoenix Arms finally closing its doors? Did you ever own a Phoenix Arms? Me personally, I did. I own and still own to this day the HP 25A, and that was the first pistol I ever bought. I don't know that I will ever get rid of that pistol, strictly from the standpoint that it's the first pistol I ever bought. So, share your experiences down below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like about Phoenix Arms, and if you owned one and you have a horror story that you want to talk about a frame cracking, slide cracking, so on and so forth, leave a comment down below. But until next time, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will keep doing more deep dives into the history and the future of the firearms industry. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.